Yes.
Okay. So software, Usenet.
So Usenet was when we first started copying music and other things. And
Sharing.
what do the record companies do? How do you know what is a good record? Do you go out
By
and
the
buy?
number of people that copy it.
No. Do you go out and buy every record that they have and just listen to some of them once and throw them out?
Where's our reel-to-reel, Mitchell?
Yeah, just.
We got a reel-to-reel around here someplace too. Yeah.
Or do people tell you what? Or do you hear it someplace like on a radio? Do you know that the music publishing companies didn't want the record stores to have listening booths so that you could
Listen to it? I didn't
music?
know that.
They did not want you to have them to have listening booths so you could select music. The record companies love CDs and albums because they can throw in 10 to 14 songs and charge you for them.
That you don't want to
And you
listen.
probably only want to listen to 2 or 3. I've got stacks of records and stacks of CDs that I only like 1 or 2 songs on them.
Well, I got to admit that the 45s where you bought the record that you wanted was
Yeah, well, you
good.
got a B-side, and sometimes the B-sides were as good or better than the A-sides. I mean, there were some B-sides that were hits.
Tequila.
Tequila, there you go. But word of mouth and personal experience were what determined what you wanted to buy and listen to more than once or all the way through. When I download a piece of music, I don't know what it's going to sound like until I've got it in my computer. And if I don't like it, do you think I'm going to save it?
No.
It's gone. Gone! I sampled it. I listened to it for long enough to decide that it wasn't something I wanted. If I download something and I like it, I want the artist to go out and make more. I support the artist. I go out and buy. How many copies of the Eagles? What is it? Their the final album before they got back together. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's got Hotel California on it. I have that album in 4 different styles. I've got a DVD, I've got a CD, I have a vinyl record, and I have a cassette.
Well, I understand what you mean.
I could have made a copy. I've had the technology to make all of those, including reel-to-reel.
Yep.
Why did I buy all 4?
Because you wanted the original things, you wanted the album.
Because I like that music, and I want to support the band. And because of that, they got back together. They've been touring. Shirley and I went to the concert that they held here a few years ago. I loved it. It's great. Hotel California is...
I remember when I saw the movie 10, and Bolero's in there,
yes.
right? And I loved Bolero, and I went out and bought, I'll bet you I bought 8 different records that had Bolero on it.
Ask me how many toccata and fugue and D minors I have.
I have no idea.
I have Stokowski from the soundtrack from Fantasia. I have E-Power Biggs. I've got, I must have at least a dozen.
Yeah, and the other one I have is Don't Cry for Me, Argentina.
Ah, yes.
I saw Eva in the Sydney Opera House, in the Vita in the Sydney Opera House in 1981, and came back to Canada, and I don't know, got 4 or 5 or 6 different renditions of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, LPs, because that's what you bought.
Do you have Madonna's?
No, but you remember Mitchell just commissioned it, that magnificent recording studio thing I had there.
Oh yeah, it's all stacked up on.
There.
It's all underneath the witch up in the corner up here.
I still got my speakers and stuff. We should set that back up again. It was just fun.
The point is, that
different wife.
The average person is, first of all, they're not crooks.
Mm-hmm.
They do like to support the people that they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
They go to their concerts. They buy their albums. They buy T-shirts, they buy hats, they buy collectibles, memorabilia, all manner of things. Why do they buy that? They could just as easily go and get a Chinese knockoff. And some people do, and that's okay. No, it's not okay. The point is that when you've got such a large population as we have on the planet Earth, and you know me, I'm a statistician. My wife and I met in statistics class at Simon Fraser University. The bell curve, okay, that nice curve with the high hump in the center and the wings out in each side. Well, when you have a large enough population for any given criteria, there's a significant number of people out on each end of the bell curve. So from crook to I wouldn't, I'll give you a penny that I found on your floor because it wasn't mine. Mm-hmm. That range, there's a significant number of people out on the crook end. They'll be the people who want to put a notch up on the wall for every single song they've found and downloaded. Okay, they're the ones that take a terabyte drive and fill it. And some of them will take 2 terabyte drives and they'll copy one to the other and they'll give it to a friend of theirs because they want to earn brownie points. The friend may not care. They may never even listen to the songs. Okay? Yeah, there's people who do that. There's people who will go looking over in Hong Kong for the pirated albums because they can buy them for $2 a piece, even though they might get caught by the customs officer coming into Canada and have them taken away.
Last week I was at a house that had well over 200 first-run movies bought in Hong Kong for $2 to $3 a piece. Yep. And
that's wholesale piracy, and we'll get into that in a second. But I'm talking about the individual.
Yeah.
Yes, people
but that was individuals that they had bought in Hong Kong.
Well, no, I'm talking about
the
guy that made
them is wholesale piracy.
That's wholesale piracy, and I am absolutely against that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem in hell about the publishing houses and the government's going after those guys. That's a different issue. Mm-hmm. The issue that I take is that because our technology has changed to the point where I can make a copy for my private study is effectively what we're doing at Foreign Canada. Okay. I am studying whether or not I want to buy that work.
Yep.
What would I do if I couldn't copy it? Okay? Well, I might listen for it on the radio, and I might never hear it because the publishing companies just didn't think that particular song was worth anything, and they never paid the radio station to play it. Or I might, by word of mouth, hear from somebody who knew the original artist, who got a copy for free, or who heard it in concert. I might take their word of mouth and say, oh, it's worth something, I'll go and buy it. Or I might go to a record store sometime when I've got a little bit of spare time. And, of course, these days, who's got spare time? I haven't got time to shop at a record store. Who's got spare time to go and stand in a listening booth?
Where do you find a record store?
Well, that's a different problem, okay? But that's part of the same problem. But I don't have the time to go and sit in a listening booth and listen to these records and figure out which ones I want to buy. Not anymore. Mm-hmm. But that's what I would have done if the Internet and large quantity storage for cheap hadn't come along.
Yeah, the last thing I bought in a record store was A&B Sound on Seymour, and it was a cassette tape of somebody singing Omnipotent. It was a woman singing a song about being a mother, and I bought it for Josie. I went out of my way to find the damn thing. I heard it on the radio, and it was so good, I drove to 2 or 3 different stores to find it.
The first record I ever bought was? And why?
No, but you're going to